Hello everyone and welcome back into another video. Today we're back in Warframe with another build showcase, and this time we have Ember Prime. They just released a new skin and it does look absolutely stunning. And yeah, I do recommend you grab it because of, well, two major reasons, but we don't need to talk about that. Anyways, Ember, as the name may suggest, is a Warframe that focuses on heat to deal damage and clear the whole map. She has many ways to deal AoE hit damage. She is quite tanky, and she also has ways to remove armor from enemies, which makes her whole kit a bit better. And yeah, with that said, let's jump into the build. Alright, as always, let's start with Archon Shards, although this time two of them won't make that much sense until we start talking about the abilities. Anyways, we're using two red shards with ability strength and a Towforged one that gives us 15% instead, but you can replace this one for casting speed or parkour velocity if you prefer those ones. And of course, you want to upgrade these ones to Towforged as soon as possible. Then we're using two Towforged Topaz shards with plus 15% ability damage on enemies affected by radiation. And usually Ember does not have any radiation in her kit, but of course we can apply radiation in many ways in Warframe, and radiation is a nice way to CC enemies because it confuses them and makes them target each other. Moving on to abilities, we have her passive, which is actually insane. Her passive grants her 5% ability strength for every enemy within 50 meters that is affected by heat status. It does not have any enemy cap, and yeah, it's a very powerful passive. Moving on to the first ability, it's usually not Bridge Surge, usually it is Fireball, which is just a fireball that you throw and deals hit damage in a 3-meter radius. You also have a combo count. This combo count basically means you can recast your fireball and it will deal more damage, up to a maximum of 8x without any additional power strength, and the duration of the combo count is also affected by ability duration. Now back to the original build, we are using Bridge Surge instead of Fireball, and what Bridge Surge does is it summons this ring that will expand and target all the enemies nearby, blinding them and causing them to release these sparks that deal radiation damage and apply the radiation status effect. So that is our way to apply radiation onto enemies, which will then buff our Bridge Surge damage and will buff all our other abilities that deal damage. Our second ability is called Immolation. This is our survivability skill. Whenever you cast this ability, you activate this meter that starts at 50% up to a maximum of 90%, and that is the amount of damage reduction you gain. After activating the ability, it will start draining energy at a very low rate, so it's quite easy to maintain this ability active at first, and it will also start increasing that damage reduction thing that will slowly go up and up and up to a maximum of 90%. You can recast the ability whenever you want to deactivate it, and this meter allows Ember to deal multiple things, but we will talk about that later when we talk about the other two abilities. It will also start draining more energy whenever you reach 90%, so be careful and do not stay at 90% for too long, and reduce it by using your third ability, which is called Fire Blast. This ability does have a variable drain, so it can either cost 52.5 in this case, or a minimum of 17.5. That depends on your immolation meter, so the higher your immolation meter is, the less energy this ability will drain, which means you want your meter to reach 90% and then use this ability. It deals a minuscule amount of heat damage, so we're gonna skip that, but it does deal damage, and that does trigger the passive. It reduces the meter by 50% flat and reduces the rate at which the immolation meter increases by 2% per second. It does also remove armor from 50 to 100% depending on your immolation meter, so that is why you want 90%, because at 90% immolation meter you remove all the armor from enemies. We are also using an augment for this ability, which is called the Healing Flame, which grants us some passive healing and some overguard whenever we overheal. And finally, we have Inferno. This is her fourth ability, and it is what makes Ember kill everything in the map very easily and very fast. So the ability does cost 0 energy to cast, but it costs 7 energy per enemy we target. It targets all the enemies in an area of 43.75 meters, and then it starts dealing some DOT damage, so damage over time, for a duration of 23.25 seconds. What it also does, it increases the immolation meter by 3% per second, and that is our way to increase the rate at which the meter increases and make it reach 90% a lot faster. The angle at the bottom is the angle of the cone in front of you where the ability is cast. You can only target enemies in front of you and not behind you, which means you have to position yourself in a strategic way to hit the most amount of enemies. Those were the abilities, and we do have to use them in a specific rotation to make the most out of them. Usually what I do is I start with Bridge Surge, so that way all the enemies are affected by it. Then I cast my Immolation, and then I start spamming my 4. By casting it, even though there are no enemies, you do increase the speed at which the meter is increasing, so we will reach 90% a lot faster. And when you hear this sound and you see this glow around us, that means we are on 90%. You can see our energy is draining a lot faster than usual, and the more you stay at 90%, the faster it will drain, so keep that in mind. And of course, we are going to use our third ability at 90% to reduce the rate of the meter and make it drop by a little bit. That way we have more time to do other stuff and not drain too much energy, which is a big problem. Moving on to the actual modes, we are using Growing Power as our aura of choice, but you can use whatever you prefer. Then I'm using Prime Sure-Footed, but as always, you can use Handspring. Then I'm using Prime Continuity for more ability duration, Prime Flow to increase our energy pool by a lot, Ago Reach and Stretch to increase our ability range, Streamline for ability efficiency, Umbrella Intensify to increase our ability strength by 44%, Archon Vitality to increase our health by 100%, and also double the amount of hit statuses we apply with our abilities. That means our 3 and our 4 will apply double the amount of hit stacks, and that is quite powerful because Inferno does deal a lot of damage, and that is now doubled, so it's just amazing. And finally, we are using Healing Flame, which I talked about before. This grants us some healing, and the overhealing is then converted into Overguard. The arcanes I'm using are Mortal Augmented for more ability strength and Arcane Energize for more energy regen, because Ember is quite energy hungry, and this arcane does fix that in a very passive way, which is what we want. Moving on to the weapons, I'm using the Ignis Rate, which is just a personal preference. It does look really cool on Ember, and the build is a very simple viral hit build, so nothing to see here. Then I'm using the Incarnon Atomos, and if you're interested in this weapon, I did make a whole video about it, so you can watch that one. And these are the Incarnon evolutions I choose, and the build looks something like this. And if you watch the Atomos video, you'll see that it does deal a stupid amount of damage in all these forms, so you can use any of these builds and it will be amazing. And for our melee, I am using the Neferi. This weapon, I feel like, has been basically forgotten by everyone, but it is such a strong weapon, and I do not know why people are not using it. I guess it's because they forgot about it, but the build is just a very simple gas electricity build with melee influence, and it does perform amazingly. It is completely broken, and it does deal so much damage it can kill a whole room of enemies in a second. And it also comes with a special attack. If we just do our neutral combo, so just melee button without pressing anything else, we just spit fire in one kind of direction in this corner in front of us, and we hit all the targets in front of us, and the beam goes through enemies. So yeah, it is very strong, and I do enjoy playing with it. And as always, my focus tree is going to be Madurai, just because I love Madurai. But if you're new to the channel, Madurai grants you 40% more ability strength for 20 seconds and 50% casting speed. And the way you obtain those 2 buffs is super easy. You just go into your operator, you do a couple of Void Slings, go back to your Warframe, and now you have 40% ability strength and 50% casting speed. It's that easy. As for your companion, you do want to use a Panzer Wurpaphyla because of viral quills, and this will spread viral to all the enemies in the map. And the build I'm using is something like this. Mostly you want to use Prime Animal Instinct and Prime Pack Leader because they are very basic modes, but what I like the most is Tenacious Bond, which grants an additional 1.2 final crit damage multiplier on all our weapons if our companion has more than 50% crit chance, which we obtain by using Bite. The way we have 86% crit chance, and we trigger the passive. Alright, that was pretty much the whole build, and let's now see it in action. So what we want is our Wurpaphyla to spread viral onto all the enemies around us, then we do our Void Slings to gain those ability buffs, and we then use Bridge Surge, we use Immolation, we cast our 4th ability, and we just cast our 4th ability again, and we cast our 4th ability again, because we need to increase that Immolation meter by a little bit before, well, we can armor strip enemies, but you can see we are already trashing all the enemies, and they are very high level targets, and they just disappeared, even without armor strip. But now we have armor strip, so we can use our 3rd ability, The way we also apply heat and we gain the passive 100%, in this case ability strength, we use Bridge Surge and we use affordability. And now things are going to be a lot worse for the enemies because those Bridge Surge sparks are dealing a very high amount of damage, and our heat procs are also basically deleting enemies. And yeah, we are not even using our weapons yet, because what we can also do is use Bridge Surge, use our 3, use our 4, and then attack with our melee. And enemies didn't like that at all. But even if we were to use our melee, it is that powerful that it can already kill all the enemies by itself. Something like this happens basically, and all the enemies are affected by gas and electricity, and they just die. Yeah, if you just want to use your abilities, use Bridge Surge, use your third ability, and Inferno, and everything is now dead. It might take a little bit, but they are already dead. Like, there is nothing they can do to survive. They are taking so much damage from all sources, and there's no way for them to survive that. We can also use our Atomos and just delete enemies, because we're applying double the amount of hit stacks, and this weapon performs better the more hit stacks are applied to the enemy. So yeah, we are just a monster, and all our weapons are just incredible, and they delete everything in their way. Even our Ignis rate, which usually isn't an amazing weapon, it's going to become nice if we armor shape the enemies. And yeah, we just need to grab some merciless stacks, but yeah, it does perform alright. I mean, it might not be the best weapon in the game, but we are killing enemies with it, and that is enough for me. A thing I didn't mention is that the damage over time that Inferno deals is kind of special, because if I cast my Inferno now, you see kind of a ring of fire that is surrounding the enemies, and that ring of fire will slowly increase in range and in damage, and it can of course affect more enemies. So yeah, the more enemies that are close together, the more damage that will deal, and yeah, eventually enemies won't be happy because they're hitting each other with their ring, and it will deal just more and more and more damage. If you want to use an ability that can group up enemies, or you want to use a companion like the Nautilus that can also group up enemies, those are two amazing choices, and your Rings of Fire will deal a lot more damage. And if you're interested in my fashion, I am using of course the Heirloom skin, which you can currently buy from the shop, and the whole pack will cost you 400 platinums, and you get the skin. You also obtain the Signa, and you also gain a sigil, which does look quite nice. These are the colors I choose, and I'm going to just show all of them and show which palette they come from if you're interested, so you can, you know, go and buy those palettes and equip these colors. And I have the same colors for Emissive Energy, so nothing crazy there. These are my attachments. I am using the Vengeful Flame Ephemera, and I mean, of course you can customize this one, but I think it does look quite nice. And I just copied the main colors, so you can just do that. I'm using the Duavolti Sayandana, which is a Tenogen Sayandana, and it does cost money, but it does look very nice. And here again, I just copied the main colors, so nothing to worry about. And I only have the front sigil, which is the Ember Heirloom sigil. And then I still have this Clarity sigil, but honestly, it doesn't even look that good, so there we go. No sigil on the back. And yeah, that is pretty much Ember Prime. As always, I'm going to add a 10-minute Grenadier Survival in Still Path, so you can see how this build performs in a more realistic scenario. As always, remember to like and subscribe for more content. Have a great rest of the day, and bye-bye.
Something more than this, loneliness, I feel. But no one makes me feel less alive. We're fighting fire. The way you push my buttons just right. We're fighting fire. When two voices of nature collide. We're fighting fire. Can't help but feel the temperature rise. We're fighting fire, we're fire. long enough to realize how alike we are. That not everything is broken, 'cause you know me better than anyone by far. But no one makes me feel less alive. We're fighting fire. The way you push my buttons just right. We're fighting fire. When two voices of nature collide. We're fighting fire. Can't help but feel the temperature rise. We're fighting fire. We're fire. set the world on fire.
Round and round we go. We go.